There's a point in your career where success reveals something you didn't expect. The strategic questions start to shift from what's next to what for. And that's really the moment the focus moves from personal achievement to building something that lasts.
This quote from St. Teresa of Calcutta, it perfectly frames this transition in leadership. It's that point where you realize your contribution, your drop, is an essential piece of a much larger whole. And without it, the whole thing is incomplete.
So that brings us to the fundamental question. What happens when professional success just isn't enough anymore? For me, this feeling surfaced right after I'd achieved a certain level of career stability. There was this persistent sense of misalignment, and it was a clear signal that I needed to pivot from my own goals toward a broader purpose.
My own experience really underscored this. I had an early ambition back in college to start a scholarship foundation. It got sidelined pretty quickly by the immediate demands of just building a career. Later on, a more unstructured attempt to provide support, well, it failed. It made it painfully clear that good intentions just aren't enough without a solid framework.
The real turning point came when I returned to my community. I saw a clear and obvious gap. Bright, talented young people were simply unable to continue their education. And just like that, an abstract idea became a very concrete problem that demanded a structured solution. The cost of doing nothing became incredibly clear. Then, the 2008 economic crisis hit, and it acted as a catalyst that completely reframed my understanding of risk. The fear of my own career failing was suddenly replaced by a much, much bigger risk, the risk of failing the commitment I had made to others. That new sense of responsibility became the primary driver, and it completely overrode any concerns I had about my own personal stability.
And that realization is what led directly to creating the 4S Foundation. It was designed from the ground up as a system, not just a fund. The focus was on building a complete support architecture, so we moved beyond simple financial aid to include skills training, mentorship, and community engagement, all for sustainable impact.
And this gets to the first crucial executive insight. Impact requires architecture. Personal generosity, it's a powerful start, but it absolutely has its limits. If you want to create something that can grow beyond your own individual capacity, something that can outlast your direct involvement, you have to build a framework. Generosity needs structure to survive and to scale. So, what's the result of building that kind of structure?
Well, over 50 graduates. That's the quantifiable output when you channel passion through a deliberate, structured system. And now each one of those graduates represents a new point of stability and opportunity within their own community.
This whole experience led to a second core realization. True authority, your real influence, it isn't contained in your job title on an org chart. Your influence grows exponentially when you direct your skills and your energy outward, toward a purpose that's bigger than your own career. It's just a different kind of leadership.
And within the Pawn to Queen framework, this journey, this is what represents the transition into the Queen stage. It's where leadership is defined not by your title, but by your ability to create structured external impact through a self-directed sense of responsibility.
So this leads to a final, critical question for you to reflect on. Take a look at the impact you're creating right now. If you were to leave your role tomorrow, does the structure exist for that impact to continue and to scale without you?